Creating visual hooks with AI will boost engagement, retention, and add a whole new dimension to your storytelling. For example, you can use them to turn yourself into an astronaut if you're telling a story about space, or maybe you're talking about AI and want a visual aid to merge yourself with the AI. There's no limit to what you can create. So here's how to create visual hooks with AI and transform yourself into anything you can imagine. The examples I'm going to show you now are for short form videos, but you can use the exact same method in long form video. There's no difference whatsoever. So just to give you an idea what these videos look like, let's just open one of them up.
In the 1950s, a scientist from a rocket chemical company tried to create a solution that prevents their missiles from rusting. They were struggling to find...
So that's one of them there, and if we jump a little further into the video, we can see here's another one. And then we jump in again. I think it's been used one more time in this video. So you can see when we're talking about something, we can use this as B-roll, or it's kind of like stock footage, but it's much more engaging. So let's have another quick look at just one or two other examples very quickly.
In 1943, a naval engineer called Richard James came up with an incredible business idea when he knocked a simple...
So we can see you can use it as a storytelling device, and it's a great unique hook at the moment. Eventually this will probably become saturated, you'll probably see it everywhere, but at the moment not a lot of people are doing it, so it's a good way of getting a lot more views on short form content. Okay, so to begin with this edit, we're going to jump over to CapCut, and you're going to want to import a video that's already been cut and it's ready to go. So once the video is ready to be edited, drag it into here to the track, and I'm going to play it with no edits just so you see where we are.
In 1943, a naval engineer called Richard James came up with an incredible business idea.
Okay, so in the first 5 seconds I mentioned naval engineer, so in this example I will then, like the example I showed you a minute ago, I would try create some AI around the idea of a naval engineer just to keep in with the story. And to do that, what we want to do is pick anywhere in the first 1 to 2 seconds. So you want to just drag this marker down here to say maybe somewhere around 2 seconds. You just want to make sure you're neutral enough and there's no blur on the screen, so your hand isn't moving and there's a bit of a emotion blur. This will probably be fine, to be honest. So once you have the track dragged and you've got a still here, you want to enlarge the screen. Next, if we wait a couple of seconds, this play track down the bottom is going to disappear, and then we want to take a screenshot. Now that we have our screenshot, we want to expand that and we want to cut it. So we just want to crop that, and we want to keep the actual ratio as close to possible to the actual video. So try not to have any space at the top or at the bottom. Just try to get as much as you possible. Just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. So that's perfect. I'm going to hit crop, and then I'm going to hit done. Now we can just get out of that. Now the next thing we want to do is jump over to Kaiber AI. Now we're going to use the free trial, so this isn't going to cost you anything to do this. But after a couple of them, after you get a few free ones, you'll then have to start paying, which is fair enough. If you're using it and it's bringing in a lot of views, it's worth it. But to get started, it's completely free, and to follow this guide, it's completely free as well. So you want to click on Start Free Trial. I'm just going to log in here. So the first one we're going to make when we're transitioning from one person into an AI, we're going to begin with an initial image. So you want to drag your image into here. Okay, so that screenshot I just cropped from our video has now been dragged in, so that'll be the first frame of our AI edit. So that's perfect. Begin with this initial image. Now we want to click Continue to Prompt. Now in here, we just want to give the description of what we want in the video. So I'm going to do something like, just keep it simple for now, a naval engineer in the 1950s on a ship. You can obviously do whatever you want with that prompt. You can get a lot fancier with it if you want. You know, the results here are not extremely accurate, so you don't really need to go too narrow. If you do go too narrow, it's not really going to give you what you want. If you're asking for specifics, it will just give you kind of a general idea. So it's fine to keep it broad in most cases just to see what you're going to get. Now, once you have the what you actually want to transform into there, you want to change the style of it next. So they've got a few presets here. Generally, I use cinematic on my own ones. You can use whatever you want, obviously, and then it just populates this with a prompt for it, basically. But you can put your own prompt in there for if you have a specific style that you want, or you can go through some of these other ones as well. Now, once we have those in, the next thing we want to do is click on video settings. Now, there's a couple of things we can look at here. The longer the video duration, that's going to mean that it's going to use up more credits. So you can see credits cost 8. Now, in a free trial, you get a certain amount of credits, so just decide how many you want there. So if you want to use less credits and have more videos, you just reduce this to 3 seconds. I'm going to leave it as, say, 3 seconds. I'm actually going to leave it as 3 seconds for now because I want to show you why. So the camera movement here, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to do zoom in just to make it a little bit dynamic. You can play around with those. Show initial image in the first frame. That's exactly what we want. Now evolve just means how, you know, how much inspiration it's going to take from your prompt. So if you go to 9, it's going to give you some crazy results. If you go 1, it's most likely going to give you exactly what we asked for, which is the naval engineer in the 50s on a ship. Now, if you go further, it's going to get very weird with it. So if you wanted to follow your direction and not get too creative, leave that at 1. Now, the reason I set it to 3 seconds here is because I want to do a boomerang, which means that it will start with the image, with the initial image of me in the first frame, and then it will also end with that. Now, I can use those in my videos because when I'm doing short form videos, I don't really move around that much on the camera. So by the time the boomerang brings me back into frame, I'll probably still be in a similar position and I can play around with that. So you don't have to leave on boomerang, but here I will just for this example. So next we just need to click on go to preview frames. Okay, so after a couple of seconds, it gives us a few just frames from the scene that it's going to give us. Now, this doesn't, I wouldn't worry that these don't look great, to be honest. What you're more worried, what you're looking for here is just kind of elements in the background that you might want shown. So usually the one with more dynamic stuff I would go for. This one looks like it's in a room. This one, hard to tell, similar. This one also, this one has a ship in the background. But this one to me looks like it's on the water, so I will go with this one. Now, at this stage, if you don't like any of these, you can go back and you're not going to use any credits as far as I know. If that is the case, then you can just go back here and change the prompt a little bit and come back and see if you get something better. But as soon as you click create video, it will use up your credits and then it will start generating the video. So I'm going to choose this one here and I'm going to hit create video. Okay, so once that's finished, we can just click play and see what it's returned. Okay, so you can see the boomerang there, it comes in and then goes back out to the start and finishing frame. So this video is about an engineer, about a naval engineer in the Navy in the 50s. So this looks pretty cool. It's fairly accurate. So I'm going to download this one. Then once we have that downloaded, we just need to jump back over to CapCut. Okay, so next we can import it or we can just drag it straight into the track. But before you do that, you want to just take note of the exact seconds that you took that screenshot at. So here we took it at 2:01. So I'm going to drag the video that we just downloaded in here now into the track. Okay, and now I'm going to place that video. I'm going to zoom in, pinch and zoom in and make sure it's exactly at 2:01. So let me see. It should be exactly where the thing was, but perfect. Now without any sound effects, I'm going to jump back here and we're going to just play it and see what it looks like.
In 1943, a naval engineer called Richard James came up with an incredible business idea when he knocked a simple spring off of a shelf.
Okay, so we can see some parts good, some parts not so perfect. So the start is fine. You can see the hand position here. So the hand position is perfect when things start, so it's on the right frame, that's good. But when it's coming out of that boomerang, now as I said, you don't have to have a boomerang, but you can see my hands here are out of position. So it's not perfect, but what we can actually do here is just cover that up a little bit. So if I did want to cover that, what I would do is I would go over to filters on the left-hand side. Actually, sorry, not filters. We go over to effects, should I say. And then we want to go to video effects and come down to something like glitch. So to cover the transition up and make it look a little bit smoother and just kind of hide the trick a little bit more, you can use any of these glitches really. So let's just pick one. Not that. We'll pick color glitch maybe. Actually, sorry, this glitch down here is probably the better one. So let's just drag that one in there. I'm going to shorten it up a little bit because we don't want it. We just want it when the video is actually exiting there. So let me just see. One more thing we can do is we can go to filters here and we can go for like an old fashioned filter. If we want something like black and white, you can also go to effects and you can go to retro. And in retro, we can pick something like maybe film frame or retro film. Somebody isn't. So let me see. Sorry, let me just pull in film frame. Actually, that's probably going to be the better one. So we're just kind of covering it up a little bit. So let's see. We can also add that glitch to the start if we really wanted. So let's just go here now. And we'll have a look and see what that looks like.
1943, a naval engineer called Richard James came up with an incredible business idea when he knocked a simple spring off of a shelf. This simple...
Okay, so that's looking a lot better there. So we can do other things as well to add a little more depth to it. You can come over to audio here, and it depends on obviously what the video is about, but you can add some sound effects as well. You can add some music to the background. So because this is on a ship, you can just search maybe something like ship and see what they give you. Okay, that sounds good. So I'm going to drag this into the track as well. And what we would do in this scenario is we would just shorten it up a lot. Just find out just pick where kind of sounds good in the track. So, no, it sounds terrible. So yeah, let's just drag the first part in. We'll drag it where the video begins. Maybe don't make it so loud, so you can actually just reduce the volume up here in the top right. So let's play it and see what it sounds like. Just line it up a little bit better.
In 1943, a naval engineer called Richard James came up with an incredible business idea when he knocked a simple spring off of a ship.
Okay, so the ship sound is not perfect, but you get the idea. You can go in there, you can play around with it, you'll be able to find something a lot better. So another really useful thing you can do here beyond the introduction is to actually just make stock footage or B-roll footage for your videos, so without having to use that still image. So if you're talking about something in your video there's no person involved, say you're talking about the beach, or like you're talking about space or something like that, you could come back to Kaiber here, and instead of beginning with an initial image, you just start writing prompt. So you could type in something like a spaceship flying through space. And you can do it in the style of this one here, I don't know what it is, intergalactic, sorry. So we can do it in the style of intergalactic. I have no idea what it is. We can just see what it gives us though, and hit video settings here. So it depends on what your video calls for. Obviously, it's just another way of, it's like another layer to your storytelling that you can add. So here I'm going to leave the video duration as, let's put it as 4. We're going to leave it in portrait mode. If you're on long form, you would do 16:9. We're going to do 9:16 for portrait. I'm going to just click on zoom in again. You can play around with some of these yourself, but they look a little bit messy sometimes. So I just keep zoom in just to keep it simple. Next, I'm going to turn evolve down because I want to keep it kind of on point to what we're talking about. And boomerang, let me see, I'm going to turn that off because we don't want to come back out. So next, we want to click on to go to preview frames. Okay, let's have a look and see what they've given us here. These all look pretty cool for what we'll be talking about. So let me see. This one probably the best. Actually, they're all actually pretty good. I'm going to go with this one for now though and hit create video. Okay, so let's just see what it's returned here, and it's looking pretty cool. So you can see if you're making a short form video and you're talking about space or rockets or something like that, you can come in here and you can create this, and then you just drag it into CapCut. You put some cool sound effects behind it, and it really adds another dimension to your storytelling. For more videos like this on building, growing, and scaling an online business and brand, make sure to subscribe and go check out my channel. Thanks for watching.